Welcome to Inside the Vocal Salon, the space where voice teachers, coaches, and singers come together to learn, grow, and stay inspired. I'm your host, Michael Sean Harris, and each week we'll explore the art, science, and business of teaching voice through honest conversations and shared experiences. So, if you'd like to connect with other voice professionals and access live masterclasses and exclusive resources, join our online community by subscribing at linktree/reggae online. Now, let's step inside the vocal salon. Hi, welcome to Inside the Vocal Salon, and my guest today is Jeannie Gagné. She's a professor of voice at Berklee College of Music and the author of several books, Belting, Vocal Production and Recording, Your Singing Voice, and I think there's one more. And this is her website. I'm going to put her on stage because we're going to talk about healthy belting today. Hi, Jeannie. How's it going?
Hello,
Welcome.
Michael. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you.
Good. Welcome. So, thank you so much for taking the time out
That's my
to
pleasure.
share just a fraction of your knowledge because you have a wealth of knowledge. So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to talk about healthy belting. What is healthy belting? And let me know when you want me to put up your Prezi.
Well, we might as well start with it. I have to kind of go through different things about it. So what is healthy belting? I mean, the first place that we really need to start, well, I'll just pop in. I do have the screen where you can see my books. So there they are. The fourth one is a vocal, what is it? It's a hymnal, actually, that I wrote a lot of music in, but it's not a Berklee book. But anyway, so getting into this, the first thing we want to know is what is belting, because there's a lot of misconceptions about it. And so it's a style. It's not a register. For some reason, a lot of times people equate it with singing from your lower voice, which we also call your chest voice, and just really pushing that sound out, or even grinding that sound so it's really powerful. And Michael, as we know, that's what rips up voices. So we don't want to do that. Like, so belting really means that you're singing with passion, with intensity, and it's going to be higher in your range. Not the very tippy top, but if you're just, that's not really belting. It's just strong lower voice. So it's really dramatic and it's emotional, but there are many ways to achieve this result. And there are a lot of misconceptions about what it is and what it isn't. So I'm going to take us through that in my Prezi here, and interrupt me anytime if you want. That's all good. So belting is powerful athletic singing. It requires you really know what you're doing and you warm up properly and you take care of your voice, because it is more impactful on your vocal folds than gentler singing. We do use the lower voice when we belt, and we use our mixed voice a lot. And mixed voice is this term that's very confusing. And I like to think of it anatomically, not just as a quality, because mixed also can refer to sort of a timbre or an approach or a style. But there's an anatomical meaning where you're using your high voice and your low voice together at the same time. And so it's in this sort of in between. It's stronger than your highest voice and it's maybe a little lighter than your lower voice. So belting is not always pushing up your chest voice. Belting is not necessarily harmful. That depends on you or your students' endurance. Maybe if their speaking voice is naturally like this, they're gonna be less inclined. And if their speaking voice is naturally like this, yay, then it's maybe not so hard. So there's that factor. And of course, it's taking care of the voice. And what it is not, when it's done healthfully, is singing as loudly as you can until you can't keep going, and then you blow through and you come out, with a flip or something. So we want to avoid doing that.
Are there certain styles that you find more commonly will utilize certain song styles that you find that's more
there's
commonly
quite a
used?
few. Yeah, there's quite a few. I mean, some of the more obvious ones that come to mind are rock, that have, powerful. A lot of times in rock, you hear a grungy sound too.
Right.
That kind of, and not everyone's voice does that easily. So I always say that's not required. You hear it in musical theater, contemporary musical theater. Very frequently, you hear it in R&B. Depends on the genre. Like if it's a chill genre, you wouldn't hear it. But if it's a big, powerful one, of course, in pop, now it's ubiquitous.
Right.
And there's styles from around the world, too. I hear it in Balkan women's choir singing, and it's probably, obviously, a lot of reggae singers are going to be using it. Right. Although it's also very chill. So it depends on the song. Just to name a few, it's not going to be heard so much in folk styles, definitely not in classical music. Jazz tends to not have belting as much, although it might come up in a song. Blues, definitely.
One of the, when you mentioned the folk styles, but in some of the Jamaican folk styles, there is a lot of belting, primarily because a lot of it was done outdoors. And so
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Any kind of music that's sung outdoors. A lot of African styles, for example, you're carrying over the drums.
Right.
So yeah.
Cool. Okay.
All right. So what do I have here? I've got sometimes, and this is especially true these days where pop, we have all these vocal award shows here in the US, like American Idol and The Voice and all that kind of stuff. And so belting is a big part of a lot of why people win. It doesn't make that the best. It just makes it for good TV. I mean, they're great, but it's not the only way to be great. So I think when people think they have to learn how to do this in order to be a good singer, that's a false belief.
Right.
And as I like to say, we don't need a show off. Meaning, don't be dramatic for the sake of being dramatic. It should serve the song, and it should serve your heart and your soul. What are you saying?
Yeah.
So when your singing is truly coming from the heart and you're genuinely connected to the lyrics and to the emotions, that's when you reach your audience. So the other concern, none of us wants to look bad. None of us wants to sound terrible, right? And the challenge is trusting that you've put the work in so that when you're actually performing, when you're showing up with the song and connecting with the song, it will come through, and we don't have to try to be more than we think we are.
Right.
And that's very often when we tend to push too hard. Or over riff, that's another thing. Let me throw all the notes that I can get in. But what are you saying?
Yeah.
So if I go over here, I think it's helpful, as I was starting to say earlier, to think about the different registers and physically, literally how they move inside your body. And the thing is teachers don't all use these terms in the same way. So there's not one universal thing that works for everyone. So we've got chest voice, head voice, mixed voice. Chest voice, we're now calling mode 1. Head voice, we're now calling mode 2. So it's not like literally up here, here, your voice is in your neck. And then mixed voice is blending. So chest voice is the stronger, well, it could be soft too, but it's the lower register where your vocal folds are shorter. And in order to make sound, they have to be a little bit thicker than in your upper register. And we can sometimes feel vibrations down in your chest, but there's lungs in here. There's not a voice.
Yeah, that's more resonance than
it's resonance, vibration, And I always like to say chest voice is not belting. Belting is not chest voice. I've heard producers say, they're coaching a singer in the studio and they say, use your belting register. So that's not a thing. And I think part of our job as vocalists, especially as teachers, is to help singers in different situations translate. Like if someone says, don't get me started on breathing, that's a whole nother lesson. But if someone says, take a belly breath, see, I'm very literal. You cannot breathe in your belly.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Digestive organs are there. So what do you mean? So anyways, that's a whole nother lesson. But yeah. And so being well supported, though, is important. So we are, when we belt in a healthy way, engaging core muscles rather than, trying to get stuff sounding with your neck.
Right.
It's the straining, it's the pushing, it's the forcing out sound. It's the thinking the note is up, and so the neck gets tight, and then this is going to get all, throat out. It gets ripped up.
So it feels like a lot of it is it's mental, but it's also very much physiology and physical.
Absolutely. And it's sometimes the mind has a misconception because we say high note and low note, which I've never understood. I always say, like on a guitar, a high note is this way, unless you're Paul McCartney, and then it's this way. Or another lefty, Yeah. So it's not actually up. But what do we do when we think up? We just tense everything.
Right.
So we can do things like bending knees and making sure we have tons of support, again, which is a whole nother lesson. But anyway, and then I'm talking about head voice. So I've got this image right here. I don't know can you see my cursor moving? I don't know if that's showing.
I can't.
No, okay.
Let me see if I fill the screen. Try again. No, I'm not seeing it.
Okay, that's all right. Well, I was just pointing to the picture on the right, which is inside of the larynx, and the pink areas are the muscles that contract when your vocal folds get longer for higher notes. So your head voice is your upper register, called mode 2, and sometimes people call it falsetto. The thing that's really interesting is vocal science now understands us as really only having 2 registers, and then everything else is some mix. Okay. I would say the exception would be whistle tone, which is kind of like being double jointed. Most people can't do it. It's just like the voice lets go like in another way and becomes stiff like a whistle. And then some people get really, really high notes. Super high falsetto for guys is like that.
All right.
And then we could get into registers, excuse me. But basically, it has to do with how often someone sings in a certain area, like men generally, unless they're high tenors, stay in their lower register, and then they hit that passaggio, and then they're in this light falsetto. And that a lot of that is just how they use their voice. So anyway, I just have the picture of the waveform showing the low frequency and then the high frequency. So it's faster.
Right.
Notes are faster than lower notes. And so your vocal folds have to vibrate faster together. So your vocal folds get stretched longer and thinner and tighter to make that happen. So cool. Mixed voice is the secret sauce. Yeah. I've got some artists on here who belt a lot. Cynthia Revo is just tearing it up right these days.
That's right. That's right.
And all right, let me go back here and let's see what we've got. Oh yeah, I guess I did a whole thing on breathing. We're going to skip over that. We can get into tone a little bit.
Okay.
It's trying to I'm clicking the wrong thing. Hang on a second. No, it's not going to let me do that. I have to do it manually. Sorry about this, folks. I'm trying to figure out, what does this one say? Okay, I'm still in breathing. All right, what is this one? Selecting the key. All right, that's where Prezi wants me to go, so we're going to follow its lead. Yeah, Michael, why does everyone want to sing in the original key? What's up with that?
I don't know. I think it's a pride thing. It's like, Oh, if you can't do it in the original key, you're not as good as, which is rubbish.
Well, so speaking of Cynthia Erivo, as I understand it, she's about 5 feet tall.
Mm.
And I'm 5'7". So I could not wear her clothing.
Right.
So why am I supposed to sing in her exact key? It's the same thing. It's not going to fit me.
That's right. That's right.
And nor would she wear my clothes because
Yeah.
they'd not be the right size.
Yeah.
So now we want to hear you. Oh, somebody, who was it? I don't remember who it was, but somebody really inspiring said, we don't need to hear another singer. We need to hear you.
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful? It's so true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially in contemporary styles, or when I say contemporary, well, that's kind of where we're focusing.
Right.
But there are some art forms where it's about developing the beauty of the voice, like Western classical music, things like that. But I would say in styles where it's about your heart and your soul and your story and your message, that's the person.
Right. Right.
So, okay. So selecting your key, you want to find the key that works best with your voice. And so, of course, you look at the full range of the melody, the high note and the low note.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that's really important is where the payoff, the hook of the song sits in your voice. So if you're belting a song and the high note is just a half step or a whole step above your most comfortable, real true belt voice, it's going to be a strain.
Right.
So you can just lower the whole thing a little bit, for example. And even then, if the lowest notes are a little too low, I'd rather see somebody modify those.
Right. Exactly.
Try to make the key, because of the low notes, push where it's much more abrasive on the voice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's see what else. Yeah, we can change keys.
Yeah.
The body changes, and professionals do this all the time. They'll have 2, sometimes 3 keys prepared when they're on tour.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the band rehearses different keys just in case.
Right.
If someone's not feeling well, or whatever. And so there's not one key that everybody sings in. There's probably a range, like you get to know where your voice is going to tend to want to shift registers depending on how you're singing. You're going to know when you've sort of hit the ceiling and you really don't want to hang out in that area all the time.
Right.
Loud voice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, also think about, for keys, who's playing with you. Pianists love keys with flats.
Mm-hmm.
Guitarists love keys with open strings. So that's a thing. And I have things about when you're learning the song, what you focus on. So that has a lot to do with what you're expressing. When do you want to belt? When do you not want to belt? We don't have to get so deep into this, but just, think about how you're learning.
And for someone who hasn't really belted, what are there certain things that you would suggest that they do to start to experiment with it and to try?
Yeah. Let me come back full screen for a sec. Yeah. So I just want to stop. Should I stop sharing?
Oh, sure. I can.
You can do that, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
start easy and don't start all the way at the top. Michael singers get impatient.
Yeah.
I'm always haranguing my students to make sure they've warmed up enough. So belting is demanding. It's a lot of impact. So here are some of the things to be mindful of when someone's learning, besides what we just talked about. This is the thing I figured out some point along the way in all these years teaching. When we talk, let me back up one. When we breathe, we inhale, we exhale, and then we don't breathe in again right away. Right. And then we're going to go, oh, hey, Michael, let me tell you the next thing. And I've waited at the last minute. So when you breathe in, your vocal folds open. And when you sing, they come together. So if I'm about to do a loud note and I go, that's so bad for the voice. So we breathe in more slowly. Get the voice ready. I got my support. Whoa! Now I can come out and I don't have that impact.
Right.
So that's a thing. Singers need to probably lower the key to get started so they're not pushing their voice up, and warm up without belting really well.
Right.
Before they get to it.
Right. And when you're belting, really, I mean, it feels like a lot of pressure, right?
It is.
It's like a lot of pressure beneath, kind of pushing at it, but you're, there's kind of full closure, but you kind of,
Yeah. Well, that's right. And so you're raising a good point. It's complicated. Singing is complicated. It uses a huge part of your brain because it's your respiration. Yeah. Respiration. I cannot get that word out today. It's your breathing. So it's a huge part of your brain. So it's complicated. When you have a full breath and your lungs are full, you're right. There's all this air pressure, subglottal below your voice.
Right.
So now there's a lot of pressure because my full closure right now, I'm talking with a lot of that pressure.
Right.
We don't normally do that when we speak. So when you're belting, it turns out you don't use a whole lot of air because you have such closure. You're not leaking. I'm like a breathy.
Right. Yeah.
So So vocalists can do things like that. Making sure they're using core. Things like that. That's of course that's my lower voice. But what we want to avoid, because there's so much pressure, is further tightening in the throat to get that. Oh, but it doesn't sound good. Yeah, well, it's a journey.
Right.
It takes time. So when people have that pressure, because there's a lot of impact on the voice, and then there's additional squeezing in the throat of the pharynx or constrictor muscle or the back of the tongue, all these different things can squish it up, and then there's even more impact on the voice. Or when there's a glottal, like that pop, that your voice is going bam, slamming a barn door. So ouch.
Would you advise even sometimes we have, because certain things that we do naturally, we do in a very healthy way without even thinking about it. Sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah. Like going, hey, across the street or something, and maybe to use it as a springboard for, okay, how does it feel when this is easy? Hey, can you transition that into something sung?
That is a great point. Yeah. So one of the things that we like to do as an exercise is sirens, because it's not pitched. You're like, yeah. Whoa! So I'm not trying to sing.
Right.
Like, oh, my voice can do that.
Yeah.
So as soon as somebody's trying for a note, then that tends to make a, then you get that.
You start to overthink it. It's like, oh.
Yeah. And if you're trying to sound in a certain way, that's the psychological part that's so tough. Like I said, none of us wants to sound terrible. Oh, I'm going to be like awful. Yeah. Yeah, it's a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun though, and also it's important that not all voices are equally resilient. So I'll speak for myself. Look, I wrote the book. I belt, but I'm also a lyrical soprano, and so for me, when I'm belting, let's just say a Whitney Houston song, it's going to sound different. I will always love you. It's got a higher timbre because I'm a soprano. Adele songs are actually hard for me unless I lower them, because where they sit, I don't have that full, round, like strong,
gotcha,
chesty sound. And she's actually has hurt her voice, as we know. She's had to have surgery twice already here in Boston.
Yeah.
But so I have to lower the key. Same with singing at last. That's another classic.
Right.
So my voice would get tired after, if I was belting, recording for like an hour and a half straight or something, my voice would be very tired. So everyone is not equally resilient. And by the way, fatigue isn't the same as damage. So that's important.
Right. And when because I'm thinking back to some shows I've done, like with my band and stuff. And when some of the, there's a lot of songs that have belting things, but you try to arrange your songs so you can take a break, get a break from the belting, for a couple of songs, and then you can recover and then get back to the belting and take a break again. So you're not always doing it.
Absolutely, especially when that belt is in the same part of the range.
Right.
It's the same with anything physical. It's like, if you are a marathon, there was one guy a couple of years ago who was a marathon runner, and he ran a marathon every day or something for like a month. Like, I don't know how the guy didn't die. Like, seriously, like, that's really, really hard. And so when you do a big show, you need recovery for sure. Same as baseball pitchers. They don't do it every day in a row. They have to trade off.
Right.
So when we do, belting is physical, it's athletic. So you're right. When you have a concert or a recording session, we want to pace it. Also, I don't know about you, Michael, but I don't want to be yelled at for an hour straight. It's like, give me some dynamic variation.
And honestly, when you're belting, it's almost like you're yelling at yourself too, because there's all this pressure and it's loud. I mean, sometimes my phone will go off. It's been loud for a prolonged period of time. And it's me. I'm the one who's been loud. So
what's fun is to take. I've done this. Is to take. There's apps for the phone that have a decibel meter in them. I've been clocked at 115 decibels.
Yeah.
Which is like a jackhammer. Oh my God. Sometimes when I demonstrate it, I hurt my own ears.
Yeah.
So that's like, it's not a place to hang out.
No.
Oh, well, and that makes me think of another point. Speaking of performing, when the band is really loud, when the PA doesn't necessarily accommodate it, what does the singer do?
They push. They overblow.
And then if they're loud in the monitor next to the guitar player's turned up.
Yeah.
Or the drummer is like in rehearsal is cool, and then on stage is like whacking it because it's fun. And then I'm in the audience going, oh my God, it must be hard of hearing. Like, where are my earplugs?
Yeah. So if someone has been belting in an unhealthy way for a prolonged period of time and they're feeling it, what would you advise them to do for either recovery or health-wise?
So I guess I would further ask of that person, can they speak normally? Do they have to use extra effort to sing even softly? Can they get full closure? For instance, I'm singing very, very softly right now. And if the answer is it's harder to speak and it's hard to get full closure, I would definitely have them get their voice looked at by a laryngologist, because somebody might have pre-nodules or maybe one muscle is working a little harder than the other side in your voice. So, and we can't tell that as voice teachers.
Right.
But we can tell when the student is really struggling, sometimes when it's not just technique. And it's actually something physiological.
Right.
Voice. But definitely, you know how it is. You've got somebody who has a lot of gigs. They have a lot of concerts. And then they get sick, and then they're exhausted, and then they have a recording studio. Some of my students at Berkeley, it's the same thing. So they push and they push. And I'm like, what are you doing? I know, but I have it.
For some singers who, because you need to have this closure for the belting. Because sometimes there's some singers who just are always breathy. What are some of the reasons for that inability to do that full closure of that, and how would you address it?
For most people, it's technique. For some, the vocal folds actually can't meet fully, or there's like they're meeting, but maybe there's a gap. There is a little gap at the back of the vocal folds anyway.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's normal, especially for younger people, especially for girls who are younger. It's sort of natural to have some breathiness, which made me think, just as an aside, when teachers are working with young people, they should not be pushing the voice because it's still developing and that can permanently hurt it.
Right.
Getting a 12-year-old to belt, like that's risky. But if somebody is a breathy singer, that's the way they've developed using their voice, and they need to learn how to do full closure in order to belt healthfully. But again, that can be at a soft volume,
right?
Which is a really good way to warm up. So it's fine muscle control, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Good. This is great. Thank you. Thanks, Jeannie. I don't want to make you give away too much. Because hopefully we'll have you, once this gets started, we'll have you come in and do a proper masterclass with.
I'd love to do one. Yeah. And I think I'm happy to share an exercise with folks.
Oh, perfect, great. So we'll figure out how that goes, and if you maybe you send a recording or something, or you at the piano just doing it, and I'll set it up so they can download that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. This was great having you again. Thanks for agreeing to do this.
Sure.
This is your website for anybody who wants to discover more about you and more of all the things you've done and how to get in touch with you. And sometimes you do your own. You have classes and other things as well. So
I do. I have some workshops. I teach a lot. I'm obviously a full professor at Berkeley, but I also teach. I actually travel around the world. It's been great. This has been so fun. And
awesome.
Teaching and performing and stuff like that.
Perfect.
So, if anyone wants private lesson, they can always reach out.
Excellent.
We can talk.
Yeah, we can talk. Contact her. She can talk.
You know what I mean?
And then for the regular online stuff, that's our website and our link tree.
There, he's amazing.
Thank you. So until then, let me do this closeout thing, and because I'm still getting used to all of this stuff. Once again, Jeannie, thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, here we go. Thanks for spending time with us inside the Vocal Salon. If you enjoyed today's episode, please follow and leave a quick review. It really helps other teachers find the show and join our growing community. And don't forget to visit linktree/reggae online to join our online community, where you'll find live classes, resources, and a support network of voice professionals from around the world. Until next time, keep lifting voices, including your own.